Hi everybody, it's Becky Adams here with ClearSnap, and I'm going to show you today how I created this layout using all of these fabulous new colors from ClearSnap. These 5 are ones that were just released at CHA. These are some of the Stephanie Barnard sprays that they've had for a little bit longer, but we're going to be using these. We're also going to be using some modeling paste and a die cut and just a little bit of water. So let's get started. Okay, what I did here is I cut this die cut out. And I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it is a little bit tacky. I sprayed it with a little bit of spray adhesive just so that it won't move while I'm working on my project. So we're just going to place that down. And also this paper that I'm using right here is watercolor paper, and I found that I really like this for projects that are going to be fairly wet. It holds the color a lot better, and it also does not buckle quite as much as a regular cardstock, and it also won't break apart like cardstock can. So I have this this tub of molding paste over here, and what I've done is I've taken 7 little paper cups, one for each color, and I marked the color on it really quick, and then I just put a drop of ink in it and then a couple of sprays of water just to keep it nice and wet while I'm working with it. I always keep this, just a little bottle of water on my desk so that I can keep things nice and wet when I'm working with my ink projects. So we've got that mixed. And I gathered up a whole bunch of old popsicle sticks, and that's what I'm mixing it with. And then I'm going to start, what I want is a textured rainbow effect, kind of at a diagonal over my die cut. So I'm going to start here in the corner with the pink. And just keep in mind, working with this, that it will dry a lot darker than it comes off. And I'm putting it on pretty thick. I just want it covered there. And then I'm going to start on this other end with the purple and just kind of work my way in through the page. I'm going to be careful to make sure that I get on the outside of the die cut so that there's plenty of room. Blue next. And I'm not going to worry about the colors mixing. I kind of want them to be a little bit blended together. And if you can see, it's kind of hard to tell the difference between the pink and the red, and I was afraid that I was going to get them all mixed up. So that's why I labeled my cups. And this is an orange color. This is Tangerine. This is one of the Stephanie Barnard ink sprays. And this green is fairly pale. But remember, and you will see that it dries a lot darker than it goes on. And I do think I want that orange spot a little bit wider. Got a little bit on my hand. Just wipe that off. And then I am not sure that I'm going to have enough of that yellow left. I don't think I mixed quite enough, so I'm going to add just a little bit more of the molding paste. And then it doesn't take very much. Just a couple little tiny drops. And this is the Banana ink by Stephanie Barnard. And once again, I'm going to keep it, make sure I get over the edges. And I'm not going to worry about mixing colors. I want them to blend together. And still, I'm going to have to scrape every little bit out of that. Again, I'm going to make sure that I go clear over the edges. Okay. Now comes the scary part. I'm going to set that aside and I'm just going to wipe off my cleaning or my work surface here with a paper towel, just so that I don't spread that molding paste where I don't want it to go. And then very, very carefully, I'm just going to take the corner Okay, now I'm going to let this dry. It will probably take all night to dry. I'll let it dry overnight just to make sure that it's set, and then I will come back and show you the finished product. All right, we've let this dry, and I did let it dry overnight. And after I finished last night, I decided to try and put a little bit of glitter on it. So I don't know if you can see. I put a little bit of the Donna Salazar fairy dust glitter on it and let it dry. And I also, if you can see, I did some hand stitching with some purple embroidery thread. Now, one of the tips that I've learned for adhering something that's a little bit warped, that the paper has been wet, is to use double-sided sticky tape and just put long strips all along the back. And then I'm going to adhere it to a piece of pattern paper, but if you don't want to leave that, if you don't want to adhere it to pattern paper or to leave a border or anything, you can just adhere it to another piece of cardstock, and you won't even be able to tell. Okay, and then I also cut out a die cut out of the watercolor paper, and I used the same technique minus the molding paste. And I just took my mists and I put a couple of drops in a paper cup with a few drops of water and used that as a watercolor and painted my die cut. And then I wanted to add a little bit of dimension to it. And I put a lot of adhesive because I am adhering it to a background that already has texture on it. But first I want to adhere my photo. And how I decided to adhere that was once again with the double-sided sticky tape just along one side. And we're just going to put that right here on the very edge. The very edge of that watercolor paper. We're going to add the title. Didn't get all of that adhesive uncovered. And then I wanted to add a little bit of embellishment in the corners, or in some of these hearts, some of these little empty spaces. And so I'm using this glue gloss. It's another Clear Snap product. And it's just like lip gloss, but it's glue. And I'm just going to use that on the back of a few wood veneer hearts. We're just going to add that last one. And I think we're going to call that finished. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. We'll see you next time.